the Nation, as we have been discussing, was done in August 2025. And at that time, when the question was asked, who's best suited to be the next Prime Minister, it was roughly around 52% for Prime Minister Modi. Right now, that number has gone up by 3%. In January 2026, as of today, when we asked that question, who's best suited to be Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi is at 55%, Rahul Gandhi is at 27%. So what clearly shows is that in these difficult times, when there are economic uncertainties, global turbulence, Indians feel that Prime Minister Modi is best suited to govern the country. The next question that was asked was, how do Indians look at the performance of Prime Minister Modi? Mr. Modi as the Prime Minister, just look at that number. It is at 57%. That's how high his approval rating is, at 57%. And when we are, of course, there was an assessment of whether it will be average or poor. Roughly around 24% said that it is poor. Another set of graphics now, performance of NDA. Let's look at that. Overall satisfaction is at 52% as of today. Unsatisfied at 24%. Let's put that graphics out now. Performance of NDA, when the question was asked. Those who are satisfied with Prime Minister Modi-led NDA government's performance at the center, it stands at 52%, unsatisfied at 24%. So the big takeaway, Raj Chengappa, would be that when it is about difficult times, Indians feel that Prime Minister Modi's leadership is strong enough to take India through these difficult times, and hence he's best suited to be the Prime Minister at 55%.
In terms of vote percentages, apart from what you've said about the popularity of Prime Minister Modi and the fact that being in the 12th year of his prime ministership, he enjoys a 55% rating in terms of performance. That's really outstanding if you look at it, given the fact that a lot of anti-incumbency tends to develop by the 12th, 13th, or even the 8th or 9th year of any prime minister. So that's great going for him. But if you take a look at why this is happening, I think that's the most important question. If you look at our previous polls in August, the percentages, vote percentages, barely 0.9% difference with the NDA as compared to what they're getting right now. And from the BJP is only 0.3%. So why does the number of the BJP go up from 260 to 287 this time, and the NDA go up from 323 to 352? That's the big question that is, we'll give you the answers as to why we are seeing this remarkable surge that's there. And really what has happened is two things. One, as you rightly put it, in these very troubled times, Prime Minister Modi and his government have delivered on all the key issues, and therefore you see that vote of confidence that is there on them. And secondly, the opposition has failed to project itself as an alternative. If you see that actually what happens is that the opposition alliance vote share numbers go down by 2%, and the string of defeats that they experienced, that was talked earlier by the BJP spokesperson, Maharashtra, Haryana, Bihar,
barring Jharkhand, all elections, all assembly
elections
since
began to have an impact in terms of the total numbers. So if you look, what happens is, it is because in this very troubled atmosphere that you described, it is the NDA and particularly Prime Minister Modi that has shown greater political stability. The opposition is showing a very fragmented face, and people want at this very troubled time a solid government that projects stability, that is able to control the forces that are there, particularly the economy, and give this feeling that, look, we are not going to fall in the same trap as, say, Bangladesh or Nepal did, but we will certainly, at this time, we are prospering economically. And that's why you see the high ratings that's there. So the big thing is that the Prime Minister offers political stability and a clear direction, whereas the opposition is not able to project that. Though Rahul Gandhi's numbers, by the way, have not dropped. In fact, it has increased 2%. But as you rightly pointed out, the gap remains pretty substantial between the Prime Minister and Rahul Gandhi. And if you see the third challenger, Mamata Banerjee, she's about 1.7%. So really, Rahul Gandhi remains the prime challenger for the Prime Minister's post from the opposition side, but he is unable to close that gap with Prime Minister Modi, who is head and shoulders and soaring high above him at 30% ratings better is it 30%? Sorry, 27.
27 to 52. So it's
right.
about a 25%,
25%,
25 to 28%
I
gap.
stand corrected, yes.
You know, Rajesh Kalappa, what it shows is that, and this is a consistent pattern. You see, the India Today Mood of the Nation tracker is interesting because it's done biannually for the last 2 decades. If I look at during Manmohan Singh's term, by the 6th and 7th year, a decline had set in. With Prime Minister Modi, I don't see that decline setting in. Now, there could be various factors for that, but Sanjay Jha is also joining us at the moment. Mr. Jha, you've been a critic of the Prime Minister, but the truth of the matter is this trust factor. I keep repeating this word. There's a sense that people seem to have built a trust factor with Prime Minister Modi through good times and bad. How do you explain it at a time when many incumbents across the world, look at Donald Trump's ratings in America, they've gone down substantially. But here somehow, the Prime Minister almost seems Teflon-like.
Well, Rajdeep, the answer to that question is fairly simplistic. I was looking at the number of democracies that went to elections in 2024, and in majority of them, there was a change of government. India seems to be an outlier, and there's a very significant reason behind it. And to cut to the chase, unfortunately, I would believe that the opposition of the country has not been able to get the message across that it is dealing currently with a government which is authoritarian or sectarian and has not created a level playing field. The messaging, the political messaging, doesn't seem to have that emotional connect. I believe that if you look at the BJP over the last 11 years, and you have said it yourself on India Today multiple times, the cocktail that they have used is hyper nationalism, Hindutva, and welfare and subsidies. And you look at on these 3 criteria, hyper-nationalism has been punctured after Operation Sindoor and the Pahalgam massacre. I think Mr. Modi doesn't command that same muscular, macho image that he had before. On subsidies, India is struggling as an economy. Look at jobs, look at inequality, look at the poverty levels, agrarian distress. Nothing has changed. In fact, the numbers have got progressively worse. And as far as Hindutva is concerned, I don't think I need to say it. I think every panelist, even if they're supporters of this government, will have to concede that India has never looked more toxic and poisonous as it looks today.
But
If
Sanjay Jha,
despite all these headwinds, Mr. Modi seems to be
but
the
Sanjay Jha,
preferred
my
choice,
question
it
is,
is basically a
for all the
bankruptcy of
concerns or
alternative
what,
options.
your disagreement may be with Prime Minister Modi's leadership and his functioning, why is it that the opposition is not able to come up with an alternative? The
Well, the
last
answer to
mood of the
that,
nation was
Maria,
done in
the
August.
brutal-
After that, Bihar went to polls. Then it was Maharashtra local body elections. The BJP and the Mahayuti in Maharashtra, the NDA in Bihar, they swept these elections. So certainly, Mr. Modi and his party is doing something right.
And it's not
Well,
just the
Maria,
opposition. Look at
I think
Mr.
it's got-
Modi's own satisfaction numbers. They
Yes.
remain high, Sanjay Jha. So there is something, I come back to it. There seems to be, Mr. Modi has been able to build a connect, whether it's emotional, whether it's a perceptual, but there is a connect that Mr. Modi has built that seems to reflect in these numbers and in elections since 2024.
Well, Rajdeep and Maria, I think a very pertinent question. The answer is very straightforward. That the Congress is now seen as the representative of the entire India alliance. And the Congress is a linchpin, and I support the Congress ideologically, but I think politically, organizationally, and electorally, the Congress has not been able to inspire confidence in the country as a whole that it is a party waiting to assume power. And I think it's been a failure of that positioning, whether it's the denting of the image of Rahul Gandhi over several years that continues to become some kind of I would call as a Damocles sword over the India alliance.
No, so
Whether it's
you're
the
not going to give
Congress's
Mr. Modi any credit. You're going to put the blame
zero.
that the
I
quality of
think
the opposition is what is making Mr. Modi look stronger than before. Sanju Verma
Absolutely.
wants to counter that. Sanju Verma, here is Sanjay Jha saying that these numbers actually are more a reflection on the quality of the opposition, particularly the Congress, and less about anything spectacular that Prime Minister Modi has done, especially in the last year when the relationship with the US has gone into a tailspin, when we've had Pahalgam, we had Operation Sindoor, Donald Trump taking credit for the ceasefire, and economic uncertainty.
Rajdeep, the way you've summarized what the suspended Congress acolyte has said, I hope you will even summarize my arguments, because when you summarize the negativity, you are reinforcing something for your audience. And I can see through the charade. Now, let me answer, rebutting every allegation very pointedly. Operation Sindoor has come up in discussion again and again. In 2016, via the surgical strike, we crossed the LOC. In 2019, via the barcode strike, we crossed the international border. But for the first time under Operation Sindoor, we not only crossed the LOC, we not only crossed the international border, we struck at the heart of Rawalpindi. So for anyone to sit here and, wax eloquent that, Operation Sindoor really quite did not give us a comparative advantage seems to be living in La La land. The second thing, you want to talk about Donald Trump and tariffs? I want to talk about the fact that it's raining FTAs, India Mauritius FTA, India Oman FTA, India New Zealand FTA, India Australia FTA, India UK FTA, and the mother of all deals, India European Union FTA, creating a market of 2 billion people, accounting for 24% of global GDP, one
So
third
you're
of world
saying
trade,
Prime Minister
more than
Modi has turned
23%
adversity
of
into
world
opportunity. Am
population.
I correct? Since you asked me to summarize, you're saying Prime Minister Modi
Can
has
I
turned
finish?
adversity. Just a minute. Prime Minister Modi has turned adversity into opportunity and thereby reinforced his image as
Can
a
I
leader you
finish?
can trust. As a
This
leader
is
you can
not done.
trust. Am I correct? No, I'm asking
No,
you.
can I
Am I
finish?
correct?
No, you will give me time. I heard Sanjay Jha. You did not interject even once. Please extend the courtesy to BJP.
Go ahead,
I say
ma'am.
that very humbly. Thank you. Let me finish now, and you can summarize after I'm done. And my final point is this, that for 20 years, the Congress also tried. Who finally ensured that the India-European Union FTA came through? It was a man called Narendra Modi. You don't want to give him credit? Good luck to you. But the fact of the matter is, when somebody on your panel sits here and says, economic uncertainty is one of the reasons why the mojo of this government is done and dusted. You're talking about economic uncertainty? 9.7% growth in 2022, 7.6% in
Rajendra,
2023,
please.
9.2% in 2024, 6.5% in 2025, and estimated 7.4% in 2026. Show me another economy which is growing at 7.5% plus with retail inflation at less than 2%. There's only one name, that is India. And final 10 seconds, Rajdeep.
Rajdeep or Rajendra, please.
Okay.
Just 10 seconds, please.
Can I now
12
summarize? Ma'am,
Can
can
I
I
finish?
summarize? No,
10
no,
seconds.
ma'am, allow
I
me
said
now to
10
summarize.
seconds. I
Okay,
said
10
10
seconds.
seconds, please. 10
Yes,
seconds. Thank you, Rajdeep.
yes.
For smaller mercies. 12 crore Swachh Bharat toilets. 10 crore gas cylinders under Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. More than 42 crore Ayushman cards given to the poor and the needy. More than 4 crore houses built under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. More than 43 lakh crore loans given under Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. And guess what? More than
Fake news,
72%
ladies and
beneficiaries
gentlemen.
of
Ma'am,
all these schemes are people from OBC, Dalit, or
Okay.
tribal communities. So the
I
Modi
take
government
your
has
point.
walked the talk.
Let's-
Can I now summarize? Sanjay Jha, the fact is, what Sanju Verma is saying, the Prime Minister, as I said, has turned adversity into opportunity. For example, tariffs threats by the US, you go and strike win-win deals with other countries and other trade groupings. The fact is that the Prime Minister, as Sanju Verma says, did take the decision, or the government took the decision to strike at terrorist camps inside Pakistan. The fact is, despite the economic headwinds that are there, India is still doing better than many other large economies in terms of the headline numbers. The truth of the matter is, therefore, all of this inspires an element of trust in Prime Minister Modi. Will you not give him any credit? The same question can also be put to Mr. Kalappa. But Sanjay, very quickly, and then Mr. Kalappa.
Sure. Rajdeep, let me tell you, I am also a student of economics. I've never felt more embarrassed than when the International Monetary Fund, a respected international agency, questioned the veracity of India's GDP data, calling it C grade. We have concerns. India's data is opaque. Arvind Subramaniam, a chief economic advisor to the Modi government, is on record to say that India's GDP, and his latest book is, by the way, a brilliant book that tells you how India's problems are structural and extremely deep, and the data is flawed. Crony capitalism in this country is through the roof. We have become a plutocracy, which is why you can see India is suffering from inequality. And last but not the least, can we talk about the CAG corruption under this government? It brought down the UPA. It should bring down the Modi government if there was enough people with courage and conviction to take it to the public domain. This is a corrupt
Okay, no,
government.
no, no.
This is an
Sanju
incompetent
Verma, he
government.
did not
This is a
interrupt you.
cunning
You must have the
government. This is a
courtesy to listen
communal
to Rajesh
government.
Kalappa very quickly because then Maria has
Data.
statewide results to offer. Rajesh Kalappa, when you look, at the end of the day, we are only giving numbers.
He's lying.
Just a minute, ma'am. We are just looking at the numbers, and the numbers are heavily weighed in the NDA's favor at the moment.
See, Rajdeep, as far as hyper-nationalism is concerned, and this is something which the Modi government and the BJP have always been known for. I think three issues have really dented this government on that front. One, like I said, what happened in Pahalgam. Second is when Trump imposes a higher tariff than Pakistan on India, and Mr. Modi had a history of having said that ab ki baar
But it's
Trump
not
sarkar-
reflecting in our numbers, sir. Mr. Kalappa, all of what you're saying is not reflecting in the number. Then Mr. Modi's popularity should have significantly diminished. It has not.
No, but the point is, Rajdeep, like I pointed out earlier, that these numbers, they are at variance with what the results are. And these were the numbers you projected, like I said, in 2024. There's a difference of about 75 to 80 seats from what you projected in 2024 to what actually the BJP got or the NDA got in the May elections. I think there
Okay.
was a difference between 75 to 80 seats. So
But
I
there
think
was a
these-
substantial difference, and I think Raj Chengappa, very quickly, you should answer that because it's all very well to have mood of the nation polls saying definitively if elections are held today, 352 seats. There's a point in what Brajesh Kalappa says. We all got it wrong, including your mood of the nation of January 2024. So, are you going to give some caveats that all these polls that we put out? There will be those who will say, "Why should we believe it? There's no general election until 2029."
Well, yeah, I think, as you said earlier, this is a barometer at a particular point of time. There will be events that will overtake it. If you remember, in 2019, since the BJP spokesperson was talking about it, there was Balakot that happened post our polls, and we saw that the NDA went on to win handsomely. The BJP did extremely well during that time because security became a big issue. That wasn't there when the polls were being held, the Mood of the Nation polls. So there are big events that have happened. Interestingly that you mentioned that, Rajdeep, if you take a look at Operation Sindoor, and that should have given the numbers to the BJP and the NDA for their performance and their success that has happened in the August polls, but their numbers actually dropped to 260 or so. And one of the reasons is, and that is why I think you'll see a lot of contradictory findings in some of these things that as we get deeper into it, is that the narrative that they built about it was knocked down by President Trump, who claimed that he brokered the peace.